Okay, so this is going to be a super simple example where we are walking through the difference between the basic LLM chain and a message model node. So in here, what we're looking at is, not an optimal way, but this is just to show kind of the difference because when I first started out, I remember I would see these two nodes and didn't understand when you would use each one. Typically I use this a lot more than I use this. But anyways, so what we're doing here is we're setting an email, which as you can see in here, Dear Bob, I'm writing to express my extreme dissatisfaction with the service I recently received, blah, blah, blah. It's a pretty long email. Signs off, sincerely disappointed. So if you've ever watched The Office, when Pam leaves a note on the microwave, anyways, some people will get it. But from there, the email comes out, right? And then what we're doing is we're going to feed it into the basic LLM chain, which, as you can see, it's you kind of want to use this one for extracting or summarizing information, simple prompts with specific outputs, clear, structured, predictable data. In here, we're able to give it a system prompt. As you can see, we could have made an AI or a user system or a system prompt. We did a system prompt, and then we're feeding in the text, which is the email that we set previously. But as you can see, that's really the only option. We can add more prompts, but we can't do anything special as far as like outputting content as JSON, which you can do with a message model node. And I will get back to that near the end of this video because I don't want to confuse you guys right now. But this is just some of the limitations. So, but you can add an output parser. So, I mean, you could technically output it like that if you wanted to. But anyways, so we'll run this. This is just going to summarize that email that was pretty long into this summary, which is customer experience series of disappointments with the recent order, including delivery delays, wrong item, poor customer support, all this kind of stuff. And then it labeled it category support. And so as far as the prompt in here, all it says is summarize this email, classify it into one of the following categories. So that happened, right? And then we're using this if node to determine if it's customer support, it's going to go to our customer support message model. And so one of the reasons I said this isn't optimal is because we're doing two steps here. We're summarizing and then we're categorizing. Well, some people could argue that it's better. But anyways, we're summarizing and we're categorizing, and then we're doing switches, which ideally in here you'd have billing, support, or feedback. So ideally you'd have three options. If support, go this way. If billing, go this way. If finance, go this way. Or I already forgot what they were. But what we're doing is we're just saying if this text contains the word support. And so at the bottom it does, but you got to be careful because what if they had, the word support in their actual email? So I just wanted to show like, okay, we're sending it this way. So like I said, not optimal. Because you could also use something like another AI node, which is called a text classifier, which is pretty cool because this is going to look at text that you want to classify. You add different categories and descriptions of, okay, customer support, this is what it will look like. Finance inquiries, this is what they'll look like. And that might be a little better for two reasons. The first one is that we're not looking for a specific word. We're going to have the AI actually read the email to understand what type it is. So that's good. But then as you add three options to this text classifier, you then have three different routes that you can go down. So we can send customer support inquiries over here. We can then send finance inquiries this way. And then similarly with the last one, we can send them down this way. So it's kind of that router as well as a chain in one. So that's cool, but that's not what this video is about. So anyways, if true, we're going to go to this model. If false, we're going to do nothing. And then in this message model node, what we're saying as the system prompt is you are a customer support agent named Kelly. You work for Dunder Mifflin. Your job is to read incoming summaries of emails and write a human-like and empathetic email back. If the customer seems angry, offer them a discount or a special offer. And then I always pretty much just throw in the current time and date when I'm doing any sort of agent or message model node. And you can do that really easily by just throwing in the expression $now. And you got to make sure that you're in the expression mode when you type in the two curly braces, and then you can pull up the function $now. Otherwise, if you're in fixed down here, it's just going to stay $now, and it actually won't know the current time. So make sure that's an expression. And as you can see, that was a system prompt. And then for the down here for the user, we're going to say, here is the email summary. And so that's the user prompt that's getting fed in, and then it's going to use the system prompt instructions on how this node should act to actually act. So we'll fire this off. It's going to be reading this email like we said, and so it should be addressing this person's concerns. and potentially offering them a discount. So I'd like to offer you a 20% discount on your next order. Please use the code SORRY20 at checkout. Warm regards, Kelly, customer support rep, Thunder Mifflin. So message model. We're going to use this one for sending dynamic and human-like messages, open-ended prompts for conversational tasks, and detailed, creative, human-like responses. So if it's something simple, real quick, where we could hit it, an LLM, send it off, go ahead, and you can connect a different model. But in these ones, we are pretty much asking for something a little more human-like or a little more dynamic. So now back to what I was talking about with the whole message model thing, where it can be, it can output as JSON easier. So sorry, let's grab another message model node. Okay, so let's set up the system prompt here where we're going to say, let me grab the right credential here. In this system prompt, we're going to be asking it to, your job is to give a summary of the incoming email, as well as categorizing it as support, finance, or I keep already forgetting them. There's no way it's finance or billing, but anyways. So support, finance, or billing, output the following parameters separately. And so we want to output a parameter or a field called summary, and we want to output a field called type. And this is just going to be the type of email. So now let's add our user role. Just an expression. Here is the email. Throwing this email. And so we have this option, output content as JSON. So if we don't do that, it's going to come out like this. So we've got type, support, summary with the email, and this is all in one item. So the issue here is, let's say later we wanted to just grab emails that are support. And what you'd think is you want to grab rows or items where the field name type equals support. And so this is all munched together. This is all bunched together. So let's do output content as JSON. And now we can see we're going to get these two different fields coming back within this message.content.summary. So now we have summary equals this and type equals support. And why that happens is because it's being output as JSON, where we actually get two individual items. And if we were to rerun this and we turn that back off, we're just getting all of that bunched into a group called content, as you can see. The summary, the type is way over here at the end. So that's one of the things that's good about this node as well. And if you remember with the basic LLM chain, that's not how we got it back. We got it back kind of bunched together in one field called text, looking at the JSON as well. So that's just kind of a quick difference there. I will attach this workflow within this sort of classroom section. So if you want to get in here and just play with this exact workflow that I just did with the prompting and everything and the email, you certainly can. So that's going to be it for this one, though.